I know that in this room, and among those listening remotely, there are souls exhausted from trying to be strong. There are cries that cannot be uttered. There are questions of why to which the answer seems to be the silence of heaven. Perhaps you're feeling the weight of loneliness, of unnamed anxieties, or of a wound that still aches. My heart goes out to those who are silently enduring pain, those who feel lost amidst the chaotic symphony of life. I understand that sometimes the hardest part isn't facing the problem, but finding the language to express what is shattering within. But I want us to discover a liberating truth together. God doesn't demand a joyful song from us when our hearts are broken. He has given us a hymnal, and within it are notes of lament, of fear, and of doubt. The Psalms are that safe space where we're allowed to express everything without concealment. The Psalms are living proof that God understands every sigh, every tear of humanity. We won't shy away from difficult emotions. Instead, we'll learn to transform our very sighs into a prayer, an authentic melody before God. This isn't a quick fix, but a journey we take together, finding a voice for our souls. The unchanging promise: answer me when I call, O God of my righteousness. You have given me relief when I was in distress. Be gracious to me and hear my prayer. Psalm 4:1. This is the hopeful cry of someone under pressure, showing that even in hardship, trust in God's righteousness doesn't waver. The story of overcoming David. The author of this psalm frequently faced slander, false accusations, and betrayal. He not only battled enemies on the battlefield but also dealt with lies aimed at destroying his reputation. However, he transformed those pressures into fervent prayers, trusting in the only one who could deliver him. A step of faith. When you feel wronged or attacked by negativity, open your heart and offer God the prayer from Psalm 4:1. Believing that He is the righteous one who will listen to you. Once we've found the initial notes to express our feelings, let's explore together how the Psalms transform those cries into a powerful dialogue with God. The Psalms teach us that no emotion is wrong when we stand before the Creator. Anger, fear, frustration, all can be lifted up as an authentic song. Perhaps you feel unworthy to speak to God when your heart is in turmoil, but the Psalms prove otherwise. He invites us to come with everything we are, whether it's weakness or doubt. Psalm 4 continues with a powerful certainty: but know that the Lord has set apart the godly for Himself. The Lord hears when I call to Him. Psalm 4:3. This is a declaration of the special relationship between God and those who trust Him. God doesn't just listen generally, He sets apart. He knows each godly person intimately and hears their prayers. The tone is like a deep bass string, deeply resonant with pain, yet firm, steady, and full of inner strength. Though the melody may be sorrowful, it still maintains the rhythm of hope, the unchanging promise. But know that the Lord has set apart the godly for Himself. The Lord hears when I call to Him. Psalm 4:3. This promise is a firm affirmation of your worth in God's eyes and the certainty that He will hear your call. The story of overcoming biblical history is full of stories of people whom God set apart, and He listened to their prayers. From Abraham and Moses to the prophets and apostles, no matter who they were or what their circumstances, when they called in faith, God listened and acted. A step of faith: believe that you are set apart for God. Whenever you pray, do so with the conviction that God is listening and will answer you according to his good will. Now that we've learned to express our laments, recognized God's powerful laughter, and declared him our shield, let's witness together how the Psalms lead the soul from mournfulness to a melody of valor and strength, focusing on stillness and inner peace. This isn't a denial of pain, but a transformation of pain into a declaration of God's power and presence. The conductor of faith doesn't abandon us amidst the low notes. Instead, he uses those very low notes to create depth and richness in life's symphony. Perhaps you're feeling you don't have enough strength to keep fighting, but the Psalms will be your spiritual fortress. Psalm 4 offers profound advice for troubled souls. Tremble and do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. Selah. Psalm 4. This is a call to pause, reflect, and find peace in stillness, rather than reacting impulsively in anger or fear. Selah is a musical notation, perhaps a pause for contemplation, for the soul to rest and reharmonize with God's rhythm. Amidst the busyness of life, the Psalms remind us of the importance of seeking inner quiet, where we can clearly hear God's voice. The unchanging promise, tremble and do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. Selah. Psalm 4. This advice is a key to finding inner peace, even when the outside world is full of chaos. The story of overcoming. Many biblical figures found strength in stillness. From Elijah on Mount Horeb to Jesus himself, who often withdrew to pray in solitary places. They understood that to hear God's voice and find peace, they needed to separate themselves from the noise of the world. A step of faith tonight. Before you sleep, spend a few minutes in complete silence. Breathe deeply and meditate on something you are grateful to God for, allowing your soul to be still and harmonize with his peace. As the melody of pain and lament has been harmonized, we've seen God's eternal throne and learned to rest peacefully in him. We'll move into a new part of the symphony, a chorus of steadfast faith and true joy. This is when we not only accept pain, but also actively place absolute trust in God's promises and character, transforming the Psalms into a firm foundation for hope and peace. Perhaps you're wondering if your faith is strong enough to overcome this challenge. Let the Psalms be an anchor for your soul. Psalm 4 brings us to a profound contrast regarding the source of joy. Many are asking, who will bring us prosperity? Let the light of your face shine on us. Lord, you have filled my heart with greater joy than when their grain and new wine abound. Psalm 4, 6-7. While many seek joy in material possessions or fleeting pleasures, David found true joy in God's very presence. This joy doesn't depend on external circumstances but is an internal, enduring contentment, more lasting than any grain or new wine. The language of empathy, I understand that. Perhaps you're feeling, my heart goes out to those who are silently enduring pain. The unchanging promise, you have filled my heart with greater joy than when their grain and new wine abound. Psalm 4, 7. This promise affirms that true joy comes from God, a deep and lasting joy that surpasses all material things. The story of overcoming the apostles, though imprisoned and persecuted, were filled with joy in the Lord. Paul and Silas sang in prison, Acts 16:25, demonstrating a joy that couldn't be extinguished by circumstances. This joy isn't a denial of pain, but a transcendence of pain, knowing that God is present and at work, a step of faith. Instead of seeking fleeting joy, turn your heart to God. Each day, take time to praise Him and seek His presence, allowing His joy to fill your heart. We've journeyed together through an emotional melody, from crying out in hardship, recognizing God hears the godly, learning to find stillness amidst anxiety, to discovering joy beyond material things. Now, we enter the powerful coda, where every note converges to create a final message of peace and absolute trust in God. We are no longer discordant souls, but musicians performing the symphony of our lives under the baton of the great conductor. This is our shared declaration of hope. No matter what the melody of my life may be, I still believe you are the conductor. Even if I don't see the light, I still believe you are my song. The Lord is my strength and my psalm. I won't let the low notes extinguish the symphony you've begun in me. I declare that in all circumstances, you remain faithful, my refuge, and my sole source of peace. The conclusion of Psalm 4 is a deeply peaceful note. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4:8. This is the perfect summary of the entire psalm, from distress to complete trust, finding true rest in God. When we commit all our worries to Him, we can sleep peacefully, knowing that He is our protector and preserver. This peace isn't the absence of problems, but the presence of God right in the midst of them. May the God of peace, who harmonized this universe, grant you a peaceful soul, a strong heart, and a renewed song of hope each day. May He be the conductor of your life, leading you through every low and high note, so that ultimately, your life will be a glorious symphony to His name.